Hey, Erica. All right, I see Scott's on there. Awesome, Scott. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good. What did you think about Chad?
That was awesome. He was fantastic.
You know, one of the coolest things with him, and I've seen, Chad doesn't hold any punches back, right? He's had so many different roles within KW. I mean, talk about the opportunity map, not just traveling, but he's been a general manager, he's been a director, management team, a team leader, an agent, KWU certified. I mean, all the way through. So it's really cool to have a chance to have a conversation with someone who's taken it to that level, because there's a bigger game than this, than just real estate. Like it's you know, seeing someone do it I think is amazing. And then success leaves clues, right? So we know that there's opportunity that is there, and he's completely open. So within even questions around leadership, Chad would be a great person to put into your network, because through Chad, I promise you, have incredible relationships. When he was talking about Win, Make, Give, that's a podcast that he does with Ben Kenny, and Ben Kenny last year did over 2,000 homes. So, and guess how Ben Kenny started? He was a door-to-door cable guy. He used to sell those cable booklets, right? Like that's how Ben Kenny started. And Chad directly referenced him in that without saying it. When Ben's business really took off was 2008, 2009, right? Smack in the middle of the recession in Spokane. So we've seen, and I saw it happen personally, where I had, you know, very good friends of mine that were in the business and then out of the business. I have other very good friends. Hey, Freddie, other very good friends of mine that came out of the business as it came out of the last recession as a single agent, started running a team, and now they're multimillionaires. And they did it, you know, they did it the right way. They didn't buy it. They really focused in on their database and creating massive customer experience. Because there's a difference, customer service or customer experience, right? So today what we're going to talk about, tactic number 8, is standing out from the competition. And really the focus around this is going to be, and we'll run it as we have, which is more of the mastermind kind of setup, is around staging. So when you hear staging, what does that immediately do? Do you have a reaction to that? What does that make you think?
Furniture.
Right, exactly. Furniture, absolutely. What else?
Declutter.
Declutter, yes, space, right? Identifying space. Awesome. What's another one?
Well, what I always tell my clients is Better Homes and Gardens magazine. Look at Better Homes and Gardens and make your house look like that.
Yeah, and that evokes emotion, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Like when someone sees that and now they can actually picture their family in the home, which is one of the number one things with staging. And even where, you know, we're talking about staging, yet we're all in our homes right now. So how do you do that? If you have a vacant home coming up, what could be some strategies around staging to give some life to the home, even in the environment we're in now?
Well, I've seen that a lot of people are doing virtual staging
Uh-huh.
with their vacant listings.
Yeah, absolutely, Erica. And you're 100% correct. So there's virtual staging, right? Which, you know, gosh, that could even land a builder account depending on the size of the builder, because they're having a heck of a time. They got standing inventory, and that does not sit well with home builders because their margins are about that far apart. So, you know, and that we saw that 10 years ago. So if there's a builder, or maybe it's a custom builder that used to use a staging company and now they can't because stagers are not essential. So, and it's not an inspection, right? So what kind of value could we present in order to do that, right? So I think virtual staging, great idea. Great idea. What's another one? What's something else?
Patrick, what is actually virtual staging?
So great question, Freddie. So virtual staging would be, if I was, let's say it's your home that's vacant right now, right? The challenge with vacant homes is that most vacant homes, hey, Holly, most vacant homes, you get lost in the space, or the room seems even smaller because there's not things that are in the room identifying it. So virtual staging is actually a program where you can put different themes into homes. So you could put, let's say it's a certain style, contemporary, right? Like contemporary modern or urban contemporaries. You could put those furniture into that vacant home so it gives that feel. Now, the reality is there's nothing in the home, right? Like it's all virtual. But it allows that home buyer to look at it and go, gosh, that does look large enough to have a king size bed in the bedroom. Or now I can do that wraparound couch in the finished basement area because I'm able to see that. So you're able to plug those in. It's that was actually going on before COVID. So in fact, we had my partners were in town. Gosh, what was that? About a month and a half ago now, I think, when Dar and Ed were here, and they do. Last year they did 605 home sales in Alaska, and they use virtual staging. So it's pretty amazing. I know Scott, Holly, you both were there for that. It was awesome. And they're actually going to come back too and do another Zoom with us. Just don't tell anyone. So here's what virtual staging, that's one strategy. What would be another strategy around staging and setting aside from the competition?
Patrick, I was thinking of contacting my stager because they're not able to do their business either, the regular stagers, and occupied homes. Well, my stager comes in and does that. So I think I'm going to talk to her. Can you do, you know, what you do, but do it virtually and let our client walk through the house with video, and you be able to give them the things that they need to do to declutter, you know, all of her usual stuff, and do it that way so that we can continue to get ready and then it gives business to my stager as well, because that's part of our listing, you know, that we offer that kind of staging included. So I've been trying to figure out how can we do that. So I just think doing it virtually, and while the people have the time now, just like you were talking about getting it ready to go on the market so that it's ready, well, they can do that work now when they don't have anything else to do.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely. So leveraging out through an actual stager. I love that.
Yeah.
What's
Mhm.
another way?
Well, I know virtual tours are all the rage right now, especially the Matterports where you can actually let somebody walk through the different rooms virtually, and that can tie into staging.
But we can't
Absolutely.
map for it now.
Uh-huh. So what if you were to do a Zoom setup like what we're doing right now, right? And we had our stager on there, or maybe it's someone, if we don't have a stager, do you think stagers are hungry right now? I think they're hungry, they're starving, right? So how motivated are they to adjust their schedule to be able to accommodate our seller or our schedules? I think you'd be amazed on what you could do. So what if you did a Zoom setup, just as an idea, what if you did a Zoom setup between yourself, the homeowners, and then the stager, and the homeowners went and took everyone, or did a walk around the home and showed off the different rooms. So if you did that, do you think you could get some good tips from that stager coming through? And it's all interactive, right? What are your thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think that's a great concept. I mean, you can't, I guess in this time right now, you can't, people can't come see it. So you want to make it, I mean, how it looks on that Zoom call is how potential buyers are going to see it. So you might as well take that opportunity to, really see how it looks on camera and get it fixed up.
Absolutely.
Well, even doing having the seller do a video through the house. You don't want to do, it's gonna sell by how it looks. And then if the buyer comes in and it's just not, it's not going to attract without that staging. It's not going to attract like it will with staging.
Right. Well, and here's something cool. Here's an idea. Throw this out there, since we talked about database in the team meeting, and different ways and why it's so important in the conversations that go around that. What if you contacted your database, just kind of throw this out there, right? And you ask them why it's important. Hey guys, I'm going to do a special Zoom around staging and setting your home aside from the competition. So I'd love it if you join me at 12:30 on Wednesday. I mean, obviously I'm making this up. 12:30 on Wednesday for 30 minutes, maybe even 45 minutes. And we're going to collaborate with other folks that are in our database, in our clients, past clients, friends, and family. And we're going to talk about staging. And so we could put some questions out there. Why do you, Mr. and Mrs. Consumer, feel that staging is important? If you could stage your home, what would you want it to look like and why? Right? Now, if you took that on a Zoom, here's what's cool. Even right now, so we could have in this Zoom account that I have, I think I could have 150 people in it, right? So if I was able to do a big Zoom like that, let's say it's database focused. I reach out to my database, I invite them. One, they're sitting at home just like I am. So they're running out of home projects, right? So now this could be really an opportunity where we say, hey, let's do this Zoom call for 30 minutes. Maybe it's 45 minutes. And you break up the Zoom call, just like what we have here, and you can break everyone up into focus groups. Then everyone can talk about it and then come back, say, hey, we're gonna do a focus group for the next 5 minutes. It's done automatically, right? So you don't have to worry about it. It's just literally you hit the button and it breaks everyone apart. Then you can come back in 5 minutes and discuss what they talked about. Or maybe it's 10 minutes, however you want that to look. But now you're starting to separate yourself from the competition because it's not just saying staging's great. Why is it great? We know. Yet, how does it look from the consumer? What does sometimes consumers think with staging? I mean, let's go, traditional staging, right? What does a home seller sometimes think with staging?
They don't see value in it a lot of times. They don't think it's essential.
Exactly. Exactly, Erica. And you know what's amazing about that is they see cost. They don't see investment, right? Staging is an investment. If I can invest, and in, let's say traditional staging, I invest $1,000 or $2,000 to stage my home, bring in a stager, do all those things, right? I mean, 2,000 probably be a pretty good deal. And if I can add 20,000 or 15,000 to the purchase price by doing that, that's a heck of an ROI, isn't it?
Patrick, my stager for $300 comes in stages with their belongings. And she has a lot of the hard conversations like, you can't leave this orange wall, or, you know, what to declutter, what to put out, what, you know, and she does that. And it's $300. So, and then I pay for photography. So, you know, we're out of pocket on every listing, you know, $500 on the get-go, and go, you know, and go forward from there. And to me, she's worth her weight in gold, you know, what she provides to my clients. And it just, the house looks, you know, gets rid of that cluttered look and gets rid of, you know, maybe a sore spot, or she knows how to hide a sore spot and draw your eye to the good spot. And, you know, I mean, it's just, it's huge. And she'll come in beforehand, and then she'll come back right before, you know, if it's a period of time and there's a lot to be done, then she'll come back right before photography and finish. So, you know, so to me, it's worth it.
So Holly, would you do me a huge favor, and the group a huge favor, since we're in a sharing environment? In the chat, would you please put your stager's information, and then that way, if she's looking for more business, then we can reach out.
And she's actually very interested in, you know, doing some stuff with our office. She used to be real affiliated with the DTC office. And, you know, they were always throwing to her. It was just getting expensive, and she wasn't getting as much business out of it as she thought. So she's interested in partnering in with us. So
great. Yeah, if you could put that on there. And then now here's a question. Let's take a different direction, because we got 15 minutes left. So here's a question for you. Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller has an occupied home. They don't want to do staging. They're not comfortable with staging. They're not comfortable with virtual staging. What then?
The home's occupied?
Home's occupied. There's things in each room. They're not comfortable with having a stager, or having someone tell, like, as far as a staging company come in. What could be a strategy or an opportunity for us?
Well, that's where we come in as their consultant. And we take a look at their surroundings and say, okay, 3 things per counter space, you know, put this in the closet, you know, put this under the counter and only take it out when you need it, that kind of thing.
Absolutely, Erica. Welcome, Jake. And so you know what? Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That's awesome, by the way, because what did we just do? We just showed our value to a homeowner without physically going through their home with them, right? Like, they can still take us on a video tour of their home, and we can talk to them about why minimalizing is important. So Jake, do you guys use, I'm going to bring you in. I know you just jumped on here. So when we're talking about staging, so what would be some opportunities that, I mean, you run a top team out of Golden. What would be some of the opportunities that you focus in on and the team focus in on with regards to staging?
Well, in today's market, we're doing a lot more of it virtually. So we'll do a walkthrough, just like you were talking about, where the seller walks through the house with the stager on. It's a three-way conversation, so that the stager then is giving the advice, helping them through that process. They'll still draw up a report for them, give them the written report, the whole 9 yards. However, the truth of the matter is what they're focused on now is, okay, how do we structure the house so it shows well in the photos and in the video walkthrough? versus having people walk into the house, in the front door, walk, tromp through everything. So it's much more of a digital format with a digital conversation and a digital slant than not. And then one of the fun conversations we're having with people is your house only has to look good twice. That's it. In today's market, you only have to have
Whoa, time out. Say that again, because I think we just need to let that absorb for a second here.
Your house only has to look good twice. I got 5 kids at home being homeschooled. I just got off a Bold Pivot call and conversation, and there's about 20 some odd people on there. And somebody said, hey, I'm hearing screaming in the background. So if you got kids screaming, please mute yourself. It was my freaking kids.
We don't know what that's about, right?
Just saying, right? So here I am doing the presentation, had to own the fact that crazy's going on upstairs. Life goes on. Anyway, long story short, the fact that I only have to clean my house twice, once for photos and once for a buyer walkthrough, a buyer inspection after we go under contract, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm.
That is so much better than getting a call and saying, hey, in 2 hours, guess what? You got to be out of the house for 2 hours and hope you can get it clean in time. And then have somebody show up early before we even prepare.
Right. Love it. What are your thoughts around this, gang? When you hear Jake talking about that, it kind of ties in with what we were chatting about, right? And what are your thoughts?
I think it simplifies it, and it's actually more convenient for the seller right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Awesome.
I mean, they can welcome everything in, do the pictures, and then they're done. Then they can go about, managing 5 kids and just waiting for the once the contract's end and let the buyers come in or walk them through it again. So it's a good selling point for the seller.
Freddie, that's genius. So you're talking convenience now, right? Isn't that what Open Door had their entire platform around, was convenience?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what the iBuyer programs have their entire platforms around, is convenience? Guess who's not in our market anymore?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they weren't in our market, but wow. Yeah.
Because the model doesn't work. Their model did not work. It worked for the market of yesterday. It doesn't work for the market of today. And realistically, it's probably not going to work for the market of tomorrow. So we just became Open Door specialists. We just became iBuyer specialists by saving our clients time, hassle, stress, convenience. Imagine if you took one of your listing appointments, right? I love this, by the way, Jake. Welcome to the call, Jake. So, imagine going into your listing appointment saying, hey, you know what? I got some of the best darn news you can imagine. And you start it with, you only have to have your home cleaned twice during this whole entire time. Let me explain how and why. Can you imagine, like, on the other side, they're going like this because kids are going all over the place. It's all like crazy. So isn't that, to me, that gets me excited. They're going to list with you. Right? Versus here's my 27-point action plan and marketing process that we do open houses every other day, which, by the way, you need to make sure you have the dogs away and this and that and blah, 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 blah. What do they really hear?
Work.
And what does work translate as, Erica?
Not pleasant.
Not pleasant.
Not pleasant.
No.
Well, and taking
A less value on
their
us.
free time.
Yeah.
Here's what we know, right? When you look at the number one stressors in a human being's life, it's loss of a family member.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is a divorce. And the third one is a move.
Mm-hmm.
If we can address, I can't touch the first two, right? I wish I could. There's nothing I can do about that. Second one, I don't even want to go near in the first place, right? Like, third one, I can help with. If I could explain to a seller how I can gain them time by listing with me versus takeaway time, could that change the conversation?
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? Scott, I can see you just internalizing over there.
Yeah, I mean, I love it.
Yeah. So far what we've talked about the physical staging of yesterday, right? What opportunities are there? We've talked about virtual staging. We've talked about minimalizing, which is awesome, Erica. That was one of the things that we used to do, is we used to figure out how do we create life out of a room, right? Mm-hmm. And if we're able to do that by the seller just taking things down, right? Like I want 5 million magnets on my refrigerator. Anyone else have that one with a listing, right? I want to put every single wine glass and everything else on the countertops because I want to show that I have parties and it's fun. Yet you can't see the countertops, right?
Yeah.
What if they have carpet that has wood floor underneath, right? Now they could even pull that back and have the wood floor out. They just don't know. They haven't seen it. When they're in the home, when we're in our homes, we're in it, right?
Right.
It takes someone else looking in the window to start helping us out on being able to see things we didn't see before. It's what's our blind spot? So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what's our blind spot for selling your home? Homes are still selling right now. They're still listing, they're still selling, right? So that has it changed? Yeah. Will it change tomorrow? Mm-hmm. And when there's this going on, we're unstoppable, literally unstoppable. Because it's not going on out there. I can promise you that. What are some other thoughts here? As we got 6 minutes left. We heard Chad earlier today just dropping nugget after nugget and then dropping the mic and jumping onto the next call. Right? So we had that going on. Freddie, I'll reach out to you, let you know kind of all of what we experienced earlier. It was incredible. And now what? Right? We're talking about staging, we're talking about increasing value, increasing convenience, decreasing stress. Does anyone know the monetary value that is associated with staging?
I think it adds, I think staging in a home that needs it pays for the commission, if not then some.
So if the commission's $20,000, how does staging pay for the commission, Holly?
Because it makes the home much more inviting. It shows it to its best ability, and then people offer more for it. It increases the value of the home in the buyer's eyes.
Absolutely. Well, it's, there's a saying in here that picture's worth 1,000 words, right? A video is worth about 10,000 words, I would say, if not more. And its beauty is in the eye of the buyer. So quick question, because when we talk staging, what do you immediately think of? We talked, Erica, you said furniture, right? What else? What is immediately what you think of when you think staging?
To me, it's the feeling when you walk in the home. It changes the feeling that when you walk in the home. I have paid Jerry to stage a house that I thought looked perfect. And she went in, I don't even know what she did. And I walked back in to do the open house, and it was like, it changed the feel of the home. You went in and you wanted to sit and relax.
So question then, is it just the inside of the home?
No.
Oh, tell me more about that.
She will make sure that you do something to do a pop of color on the outside of the home to draw your eye. She's had conversations with my clients that they need to do something with the yard.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at the whole picture, and really she has hard conversations that I don't have to have.
That's key.
And so it allows me to keep the relationship warmer, and she has the harder conversations, and she's so good at it. She's been doing it a long time, and she's so good at it that that people don't get offended. She knows how to do it very professionally and talk about the stuff that, because I'm such a high D. I'm a high I and a high D. And when I get to business, I become so high D that I'd probably just piss them off anyway. So I'd be like, no, got to get rid of that color on the wall.
So here's because we just have a couple minutes left, and Holly, I appreciate that very much. And here's where I was going with that. Is curb appeal staging?
Well, it is, because what you're doing with staging is you're evoking an emotional response. You want that first 3 seconds to be, oh, I love this. I got to see more.
Absolutely. And doesn't that happen right when they get out of their car?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not when they walk through the door. It's right when they get out of the car. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, would you please do me a huge favor? I love the fact that you showed me a video tour of the inside of your home. Would you please show me one of the outside of your home? Because one of our goals is to create such an incredible experience for the buyer, even virtually, that it ties into that emotion and we can beat the market, even the market of today. So there could be other thoughts. My point to it is staging can actually go a couple different layers deep, right? And having those conversations, having a stager in your back pocket, awesome. I have friends of mine who are stagers across the country, and I reach out to them to find out what's going on in their market. Who do we know that's a stager not in Denver right now? Right? I have a good friend of mine who's a stager in Tampa. I reach out to her. Hey, Annie, how are these things going? What's going on in your world, right? How's the market out there? I want to hear it from someone else besides a real estate agent. This is a different perspective, right? So what are some takeaways as we finish up here? What are some takeaways, some ahas that you had from the last 30 minutes?
You just gave me one. When we have our clients do the video, they need to do a video of the outside as well.
Yeah. And I think the Zoom staging consultation is, I hadn't thought about that. That's a huge one.
Uh-huh.
For me, as I digest the whole conversation, I see the staging as a balance of emotion. So we're seeking to help the seller balance their attachment to their things and the way they've lived for the last 30 years and wanting to pass that on to the next buyer, with having the home be presentable so that the buyer can invoke their own emotion and become attached to the home and picture their lifestyle in that home.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a balancing act.
Love it. That's awesome, Erica. Freddie, how about for you?
Yeah, I think that definitely makes it worth it to invest in a stager, especially right now. So, it just adds value to the home, and it's going to put you above the competition. So I like the whole thing where you can use the stager to be the consultant and quote unquote the bad guy, where they're going to go, they're the professionals and experience, and they can make the seller see the value in it and put them and make them see the house through a buyer's eyes and what's going to stand out and be pleasant.
Yeah. Awesome, Freddie. Jake Ganger, I know you jumped on the call late. Give me an aha, my friend. I saw you making notes.
Yeah, making notes and scribbles. No, the outside of the house piece, I want to make sure my team's doing it. I'm not sure if that's part of our protocol and our process. The other thing, and I'll tell you, it was fun. We did a mastermind yesterday with the team, and this came from Lance Loken and Karina this week. It might have been last week, that they did the same thing and said, hey, what are the 20 ways we can go digital today? I highly suggest you all to kind of take that time and do it either in a small group or even for yourself. Because the goal truly was those last 5 ideas that kind of kicked out that were just, I mean, brilliant. And there are things that we can implement today that will stay as a part of our system. So, and that's where the virtual staging came. That's where some of the other pieces came together. So.
What webinar was that, Jake?
That was the region did a webinar where they interviewed Karina and Lance Loken. They sell, you know, just a small amount of homes in Houston, right around 200, about 2,000, 3,000 a year.
Okay. Yeah. Man.
Size of brokerage.
You know, it's a team of 80 people. So,
Wow.
you know, it was about how did they adjust and how they shifted and how are they continuing to achieve their goals.
Erica, Amber can get you a link so you can watch that as well.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Okay. All right.
Freddie, we'll
Thank you.
chat, buddy. I'll make sure you're in the mix.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, listen, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for taking the time again today. Any questions or anything else before we jump off?
No, just thank you for doing this, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Patrick.
Awesome, guys. All right. Make it an awesome day. We'll be in touch, all right?
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See ya.